life went on. But this time now it got worse because most of the mornings I'm always drunk. I will sleep and the sleeping hours will not be enough. Now we are having communication problems because sometimes I don't call.
You don't pick?
I don't pick. And I don't know. We've never been able, up to now, it came to a time whereby I am not sure, but I usually have this feeling like someone from the town that I was living in got into contact with my wife. Yes. And it's kind of like used to tell her all about all my movements.
Okay.
Because now it got to an extent somehow, sometimes she would call and I'm very good at analyzing some things. Somehow I would feel that in particular that call there was a reason as to why that call was made. And if I try to analyze that, I would get that as maybe it's because of where I am right now, or who I am with, or the company I'm in. And the questions that she would ask would relate to that. Unashindwa kwani huyu mtu kwani akona CCTV naona. So it's kind of there was someone who was leaking information.
So up to now she has the knowledge of what is happening.
But
the information has not come from you.
It hasn't come from me.
Okay.
And again, somehow she hasn't been able to connect with the fact that now I have a problem with her renewing the contract. Then there's something else that we have to be truthful about. We are both earning, we have a kid, we have needs, we have expenses. So definitely whatever chenye tumekusanya sasa imeanza kukua like 100% haiendi kwa zile mambo, those things that it was intended to. Because now I'll have, lazima nikuwe na pesa ya kukunywa.
Hapo sasa
of course there are some duties now sasa zimeanza kuabsorbiwa. I believe now at this time the only thing that I felt that I had a duty towards ile ambayo afadhali hata kwanza niache my friends there, kwanza niende nishughulikie ni kwenda kuona my daughter.
Okay.
Kwa sababu it wasn't far.
Amidst the drunkenness, issues, you still felt the responsibility and the bond should be there.
Yes, that was the real me now. And this real me was being taken over by something else. But that one single thing, I believe I can't regret. Because afadhali hata kwanza ningeacha mabeshto wangu, kwanza nikimbie, I spent some time with her, at least anione. So things became hard to an extent. Sasa kuamka hivi, nothing else, ni kuoga macho kwa pub.
Hata kazi haifanyiki.
Sasa kazi kwanza imekuwa worse kwa sababu kazi ni ya usiku. Kwa sababu we are going at night.
Breakfast ni kwa bar.
Breakfast ni kwa bar. Actually hata zile vitu, kwa sababu vitu zitakuwa kuna watu ambao watapark kwa gari. So utatoka kwa bar uingie kwa gari uende kazi. Na unasikia ni wapi? Motels, around motels. Kama place ni kubwa sana, we used to talk with the management. Actually they loved that so much because bado ilikuwa inaongezea customer. And everyone was free to come for that clinic, by the way. So if the place was big enough, wangetupatia a place, a room. If the place was not big enough, we would always set a tent hapo nje or within the compound. So you can imagine now umetoka kwa pub, umeenda job na job iko within
the pub.
Yes, connect that. So I even enjoyed working.
Because now the environment is
Very conducive,
favoring you.
yes. So there was no really like differentiating between masaa ya kukunywa na masaa ya kazi. Hata masaa ya kazi ni
kila kitu inakufavor.
Yes. And now, and I'm not judging anyone, you can imagine most of your clients watakuwa aje. Mwingine anafurahi hapo anakuambia gota pewa moja hapo, ama ukikuja pale kwa counter nimekuachia 2. Who am I to say no? And the story continues. So it would be like I would even afford like on Saturday during the day I could like very comfortably walk in that place kwa sababu kuna zangu kadhaa kwa the counter. And then I thank God because alinipatia roho ya ku make friends very fast. And I never lacked friends. So whether I have money or not, bado nitakunywa. Sasa ilikuwa imefika mahali sasa, now I'm taking like alcohol throughout. And now it was getting into me kwa sababu one, nyumba inafaa kukua safi. Sasa umeanza kuona sasa hauna time. Hakuna
time, anything time iko ni ya kazi na kukunywa.
Yes. As much as I was married, mimi sijai advocate ati unaita mtu akufulie nguo. Hapana, I used to do it and I love it up to today. I love being responsible. But sasa hiyo responsibility sasa ilikuwa inachomokea kwa dirisha sasa. Now I was like living 2 people in one. Because there is this person mwenye sasa amevutwa na hii pombe. And on the other hand, there is this real Francis now mwenye anajiambia ukweli. Francis, hapo unaelekea, this is not good. Sasa mpaka sasa, of course something else will be affected, my health ikaanza kukua affected kwa sababu kila saa you have bloodshot eyes, haujalala vizuri. Of course imeanza kuchomeka juu ya pombe. Of course sasa ikaanza asubuhi ni kama okay, I never used to shake, but kind of in the morning I would become jittery and I would feel very much uncomfortable. And saa ingine hata kupatana na mtu, I used to avoid people in the morning. Kwa sababu kuanza kuongea sana nasikia hapana, sitaki. Unless niende kwanza, I sit down nikunywe kamoja nisikie nimefunguka. Now that's where the other problem was, kwa sababu mimi sikuwa najua kutoa lock. Ile inaitwa kutoa lock. So ni kwenda kutoa lock, unatoka pamoja na mlango. Me, I used to know like drinking.
Well, ni kulewa tu yani.
Yes, kuuguza hivyo hakuna kusimama sasa. Ni kuendelea. And by the way, that first drink inakuanga tamu sana. Once it gets inside you, there is that feeling that comes up, that euphoria. And you all of a sudden become talkative. Na yeye shetani ni nani? Analetanga mabeste wenye wanapenda kusikiza story.
Kwanza the people relate with you so well when you are drinking.
In the morning, I always found myself with a certain very interesting topic, and you would find that like everyone is listening to you now. And in the process, 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3, 3 becomes 4.
And up to now, you've not confided in your wife?
No, but it's kind of now she knows. Now, whenever now, when she calls and asks about this, of course, I would look for an excuse to, like, I would always complain.
And run away from the story.
Ama unaanza tu ubishi. Somewhere, from nowhere, you start an argument. Yeah, hiding behind and yani looking for scapegoats and all that. And in the process, things had to change. And I started noticing that maybe there are some things that tulikuanga tumeongea, nafanya hivi, na mimi on this other side nafanya hivi. I started noticing things are changing. They are not the way they were anymore. Now that I took that as now combined with the fact that I still have this problem with the fact that the contract was renewed somewhere.
She's there far away.
Sasa ongeza hiyo kwa kichwa. I started making conclusions on my side. And that's why now I decided my other wife, my second wife now, would be alcohol. Sasa ni kukunywa kabisa. And funny enough, I don't know how, but I never lacked money. I used to get money.
To drink, yeah.
But now everything else ceased to exist. Now we are talking about 2012, 2011, 2013, around Uhuru Kenyatta akiingia. Up for that period now, I did some serious drinking. Now things got worse. I found out that nimeanza kukua untidy somehow. Kama nywele sileangi nywele.
You have no time for yourself anymore.
Yeah, I'm not taking care of myself the way I'm supposed to. And sasa unaona kazi sasa nayo sasa si lazima niende, but ikitokea nitaenda kwa sababu hiyo sasa it doesn't interfere with my drinking so much actually. Kwanza hata bado ni mzuri tu nikienda kwa sababu I will still drink. So now my life started evolving around alcohol throughout.
And at what point now did it become worse?
Now it came to a point where by now I started suffering from blackouts. And it's always good to know that blackout si ile ya commonly huwa tunasema ati blackout ni ile unapata mtu amekunywa amelala. Hapana. That's just a mild coma. A real blackout is whereby you go to drink and you find yourself the following day either kwa nyumba or wherever you find yourself, but the last thing you remember was like jana saa sita mchana. Everything else in between haujui, lakini ukisikia kulingana na wenye wanajua, you took yourself home. Maybe you went to some other several pubs. Maybe you bought for so and so. Maybe you quarreled with so and so. But the brain didn't register all that. And that's what we call a blackout. So sometimes sasa ikafika mahali on several occasions nilijipata like nimeanguka mahali and it's late at night. Around saa 7 najisikia kitu saa 10. How you got there, I don't know. Now it had gone to an extent my wife, we don't talk anymore.
And she renewed the contract for once for another 2 years.
Yes.
She's still not yet back to the country.
Yes.
Okay.
Ifika mahali sasa we don't even talk anymore. And I don't care. And to an extent now, I started suffering from morning jitters and shaking. The withdrawal started kicking in. And my eyes started seeing blurred. I had blurred vision. And to an extent now, I started having problems with the landlord because sasa hata rent.
The little you get, it's channeled to alcohol.
Yes.
And that.
Na hapo ndo nikaa hivi sasa nikakaa chini. I remember now flashback to what I told you about. I love Christmas time. I remember 2014, that period, that Christmas period. I remember on Christmas Eve, I couldn't get myself to go home because I always spend my Christmas at home.
Yes.
One, my health had deteriorated. I had some lots and lots of guilt, shame, remorse, stress.
Yeah.
And these other resentment. Now I had already begun creating a resentment towards my wife. And I remember on 24th, nilienda nikajifungia kwa nyumba because hata siku anataka kuona watu wakicelebrate, because at the back of my mind I knew what I'm missing back at home. Everyone else is there. I don't want to go, I don't want to see them, but when they call I just tell them I'm very much okay. Na nikawaambia sitaweza kuenda kwa sababu ya kazi. Nilifungua hiyo mlango on 26th. And kufungua, I just went to a pub, drank myself into a blackout. And the next thing, I woke up, found myself in the same pub, drank again into a blackout, and found myself in bed the following day. How I came home, I don't know. I came to learn later that one of my friends took me home. Now, sasa hiyo ikaanza, sasa ndio shughuli sasa. Alafu to avoid like maybe because now most of my friends wako kazini during the day. Nikaanza kuenda movies, so I could spend time there. Hapo sasa nikadevelop issue ya kukula muguka.
You have now introduced another one.
Yes, and you know in Mwea hiyo inakuanga nyingi.
Ni nyingi hamsa.
So you can imagine now my health doesn't look so good. Deep inside me I feel that. So I even started avoiding friends. Those real friends. That person that will come and ask you, kuna shida? Ama what is happening?
Maisha ni muguka pombe.
Sasa hao nikaanza kujificha. So ni muguka pombe, jioni naenda kazini. Narudishwa mahali walinitoa. Naendelea. So that became the routine. And mind you, I could always find time. That hiyo sijui what had happened. I could always find time to go and see my daughter. But even the grandmother to my daughter started noticing.
But now amidst all this now, let's use a word a bit tough. This now reckless life, tuseme hivyo. You have never, due to the fact that your woman is not in the country, you are feeling that she's like drifting away with the renewal of the contract. At any point, were you ever now involved with another relationship, ama you just maintained and the friendship ya alcohol ikaendelea?
No, that's what actually that's what made me concentrate more on alcohol, because as I was telling you, at the back of my mind, it's kind of I was living two lives, because there's the real life, what is happening inside me, and there's the life that I want people to see. So, and I remember mpaka maybe see family yake wako around. So when it comes to the family, my family, hata hao hawakuwa wameshajua kama kuna shida. So we like na yeye hakuwa amewaambia. So it's like we never like portrayed that image that there's a problem going on. And again, mi kwangu sana ilikuwa pombe, not relationships. And I believe that was one of the reasons as to why I was so determined to stay with my child for those 2 years. I didn't have a problem with that. But now, in the process, now how the way things are, I had a set of friends now. The drinking, okay, right now I can call them drinking buddies because they were not friends. Because the only thing that we had in common is that we drink. Yes. Now, basically, what used to happen, there were not men alone. There were ladies. And the rest were men. So, according to how people know me, they wouldn't be able to differentiate whether I'm in a relationship with that lady or not. But as much as you've been seen in a company of a lady, what do you expect other people to think? They will think the same thing. So it came now to a point whereby now nikaona sasa hapa hapa nikiendelea hivi nitafungiwa mpaka nyumba, and mimi sasa something dangerous will happen if I don't take care. I called myself for a small meeting, and I decided to like kufunga vitu kadhaa, nikaacha my daughter there back at her shows, and I went home.
Home? You are home now in Murang'a?
Yes. And I went there. Okay, I never told my parents anything, and na maisha ikaendelea, so I decided to stay there for some time. Because I think
you find
over.
Yourself.
The funny thing is that inner me, like sasa inajaribu kwa process ya mtu ambaye ako in addiction, there are times anakuanga genuine na mpaka anatafuta njia za kujaribu kuacha. So the only problem is that those ideas zenye anakuanga nazo, mostly they are not strong, because the compassion and the craving ndio inakuanga imetake the center stage. So I tried like staying at home for some several months, doing odd jobs there.
And then did the drinking continue?
Now I had like I stayed for a month at home without going anywhere.
Wow. And
that I felt like even my health had improved. But to some extent, you see, I was used to, okay, my father somehow couldn't understand why, like, all of a sudden, I would, like, come back home and just stay like that. And he's not used to that. So he would inquire a lot about what is going on. But believe you me, to me, now that was nagging. And I felt that this is getting into me. Yes. Then there was something else that was happening in my mind. I could always look at these other sisters of mine and my brothers. They are doing well. They are doing okay. And it's like I'm the failure.
Disappointment in
that disappointment. And I started seeing myself as a failure. I started feeling sorry for myself. That thing got into me, and I had to look for a way to run away from the reality. Now, plus the pressure because others were concerned, what's happening? What is happening with your family? Because now it was clear something is not right. So to avoid all this, and to avoid, I had to do something. And again, gradually, I started like now going out in the evening. There are some local pubs around. And of course, I picked from where I left.
You didn't stop?
No.
At what point did you stop?
No, it's a story. Because I picked from where I left, and it only got worse. After some time, I still tried again to stop the drinking, and I even got a job within the area in a hospital with another NGO, and it was a contract. I worked for that contract all the way to around 2017. The contract came to an end, but the drinking was still there. And sometimes I couldn't go to work. Sometimes, okay, the drinking was generally, nothing had changed.
Okay.
And now the communication with my wife was totally broken down.
She was never there even?
Yes. Basically now, even, okay, if I would come across a genuine person, he would have told me I have a problem. But I never saw myself as if I have a problem with drinking. So when the contract came to an end, one, according to how I was brought up, singeweza kuiba because I needed money. I needed money to like satisfy my addiction. Na itaweza kuwa ngumu sana ati each and every time you are relying on your parent. And it's not good to steal from them. That is the real me inajiambia hivyo. Because that is the truth. But in actual sense, you still have to drink. So to fight all this, I had to look for a job, any available job. What did I do? I got myself a job in a pub. That had several advantages. One, I'll not have a problem with where I will get my next drink. My addiction has been sustained and I'm still making some money. But you can imagine where all that money used to go to. So that's how I started working in a pub. And
continued
gradually, all about what I know, all about zile courses zote nimefanya was long forgotten. Kwanza I shelved everything. Now the frustration, the feeling sorry for myself, that feeling that I'm a failure, that issue of I want to change, yes, but how, I don't know, made me now run away from reality. Actually, I remember if there is one thing that used to hurt a lot. I'm this kind of a person who would be working in a pub and kama ni mimi niko kazini, utakuta hiyo place imejaa hivi. Because it was more than just like kuuza pombe. Somehow I would start a conversation whereby even the customers themselves ndio wana demand music izimwe, they just have this conversation which is so captivating. Unapata watu wengi wanapenda kukuja not because hiyo place ni ya nani, lakini ni juu ni nani anauza. So I used to attract so many customers and in the process of course hata mimi nakunywa and of course si watu wote wanakujanga kukunywa pombe with bad intentions. So utapata mtu anakuangalia hivi na kuuliza, hey my friend, wamezoea kuniita daktari, hii daktari na hii mambo yote uko nayo, what are you doing here? That is one question that I truly would really love to evade. Because that is one question that would take me back to the real me.
Meaning there are people who are noticing you are not supposed to be there.
Yeah, definitely majority of the people used to tell me, you're not supposed to be, what is happening? You see? But I never used to take that as a problem. But it's like sweeping everything under the carpet. I know the real thing. I know I've already developed a problem, but I'm sweeping everything under the carpet. So I continued sasa ni kuuza pombe. Sasa I used to like nafunga saa 7.
Uliuza for how long?
Around 3 years. Okay, the first 2 years, 3 years, around 2.5 years. Ningefunga karibu saa 7, naenda naoga. I used to open at 3 AM. Juu ya wale watu wa kutoa lock. Actually, I became very famous. Kwa sababu inajulikana saa fulani ukienda kwa fulani huyo anakuanga amefungu. So it's like now that became my life. Na nikauza kukunywa, sionekanangi sasa nyumbani. Now my parents now are even worried. My sisters, my brothers are worried. To an extent now, it even worried the local chief. Because he personally knew me. And on the other hand, his assistant was my brother. So they were worried. My parents were worried. My genuine friends were worried. And I was worried too, but I didn't know what to do. Now, what brought me out of that work the first time was that Kasoba ikaanza kazi. If you remember that period when pombe haramu ilianza kumwagwa. And mind you now, because of the tolerance yenye sasa nilikuwa nimecreate, sasa mimi singekunywa kitu kama atibia. Sasa hiyo sasa iwezi fanya kazi, hiyo ni maji. So I had switched to hard stuff, makali. So I could like do away with some several bottles of 250 ml of the hardest liquor. Sitaki kutaja majina. So now at this time kasoba sasa ikakuwa sasa wale ambao wanauzanga mchana wanashikwa. Ukipatikana ukiwa mlevi unashikwa. But what used to amaze these police officers was that mbona tunashika wale wote ambao wanauza, but we don't know nani huyu anauzanga hii pombe yenye hata hajulikanangi nani, because I used to operate like a vampire. Mahali nilikuwa nauzia ni mahali palikuwa na corridor, alafu unapanda juu. Sasa pub ilikuwa mahali juu, nilikuwa najifungia huko all through the day, and still ni mimi nitakuwa kazi jioni. So mpaka nilikuwa nimeshaanza kuturn yellow kwa sababu ya kukosa light. So there is a way I had developed, like unajua nikiwa mahali kwa balcony inside the building, nilikuwa naona every possible client, nilikuwa nawajua hata movements zao in town. Unaona venye mtu ameenda mahali anaenda, unajua anakuja hapa. And of course niko na watu wangu nimeweka several areas. Utapigia, unaona kama amepiga direction kubwa sana, ameenda to the wrong direction, unatuma mse fulani, hebu ita fulani mwambie niko. So huyo naye atajileta, anajua venye kunafunguliwa, anaingia, such kind of things. So at one time ilifika mahali sasa nikakutwa. Kuna venye sasa maofficers walipanga mpaka sasa venye nilikutwa nikiwa kwa counter. And some several people there. I was taken to the police station, kaandikisha pale kwa OB. The following day, now that's when my problems began. Now that's when I saw the real me, minus the alcohol. Because all this time was me plus alcohol. So when morning, I of course nilishikwa kitu saa 5 and I was already drunk. So actually kuingia kule kwa cell, I slept off, and I didn't have a problem. But now came the morning, and kawaida nimezoea kutoa lock saa 9. Sasa sina pombe na niko kwa cell. When the OCS came, ikasemekana sasa aone wale ambao wamelala huko, ili kujulikane ni wapi, ni nani issue zake zinaweza solviwa at the OB na ni gani zitapelekwa kotini. So of course kuna mtu ambaye, kuna officer mwenye na brief. So tukaambiwa tutoke nje, and mimi niliachwa kama nimeketi chini. And when I was told to stand up, I stood up, but I fell down. Because my legs were weak, they couldn't stand, I was shaking, I couldn't speak because words wouldn't come out. I couldn't see beyond my nose because my eyes were in a blur. And actually, ikasemekana I have to be taken to the court. Hiyo hakuna story ingine. Because walikuwa wamenishika mpaka na evidence. But imagine for me to get into that vehicle, for me to be in a position whereby I will be able to stand in court and to talk to the magistrate. The OCS had to give an officer permission anipe pombe. It took a whole 250 ml of hard stuff. Try.
For you to be able to talk,
stand up
and
to talk. That's when the reality of the real me hit me. I was taken, but it was too late, because I was taken to court and I was charged and I was fined. I was imprisoned for 6 months. all a fine of 50,000 shillings. And mimi nilikuwa najua vizuri sana 50,000. One, I knew at the back of my mind, I knew it wasn't fair to my sisters and brothers because they are the ones who will come for my sake. So I decided to tell my father, asishughulike na hiyo pesa, wacha nikae ndani. Because even the officers there, because it was a spectacle, even the officers, some of these people who will watch this, and they were there, they are my witness. It was a spectacle. Everyone was watching.
It was a scene on itself.
Yes, and even the officers were like telling me, ukienda kule ufungo, wacha mambo mingi ya kukata, enda ukae huko ndani, hii mambo ishi. It's like
it's therapeutic.
I remember there was a cover, kuna cover zilikuwa zimetokea za simu at that time. Zilikuwa zinakaa kama branda hivi. Ivuta hivi na jivuta hivi. And I was like, so ukiweka simu ilikuwa ni kama unaivuta kidogo, una fix on both sides, then unavuta pande nyingine, una fix. I couldn't do that. And I remember
alcohol had really affected your system.
Yes. But no one ever used to see this because there is no one time I stayed without alcohol. So it's like I acted normally. So it had come to a point whereby me taking alcohol was not for fun. It was to enable me to act normal. Now minus the alcohol, that was what was left of me. So it came to an extent, I remember when I reached the gates of jail, nilipelekwa jail Murang'a. And kufika hapo, of course, mtu utoa nguo zote, unapigwa search, then unasukuma, you leave everything there, unapeangwa kauzi ufunge vitu zako, kama ni simu inarejistiwa mahali. So that's when the officers were making fun of me. Kuniambia niweke yako kakitu, I couldn't. So kuingia ndani, kitu ya kwanza akili inaniambia niende shower. Kwenye huwa watu wana shower in Murang'a, most of those people who know, inakuanga pipe ya maji. Literally imeletwa hapa juu. So haina kitu kama ya kusieve. So maji inamwagika direct. Na unajua si maji moto. So nikaingia, and it's kind of course you can, possibility is that possibility itakuwa mtakuwa wengi. So it's kind of kuna wasi walikuwa naona hapo nikishikishika hapo hivyo. So mi kutoa nguo kuenda ili nishawe kuangalia sabuni kwa wapi, sijui nani alifungulia maji all of a sudden. Unaona tu that force ya maji was enough to make me fall down. I was that weak. And after that shower, okay, for the first time I was shaved, awembe, something that got into me so much. So, and I started doing my time. The following day, kuna kitu sisi wa Kikuyu tunapenda kuita katafara. Katafara ni transfer ya jela. Ikakuja. And I remember one of these guys mwenye, okay, all of a sudden tukiwa inaitangwa kukafa. So ili uhesabiwe, tukiwa tu tumesquat hapo hivyo, I remember someone calling me, Francis, daktari, what are you doing here? Kugeuka hivi, is a friend of mine, alikuanga police warden, a prison officer. He couldn't believe what he was looking at, because we used to go out with him some several years back, a very clean, handsome guy. Now he was looking at me, a prisoner. He couldn't believe his eyes.
What?
So now that's how now reality started dawning on me. But unfortunately at that time now, when he noticed that I'm around, I was among those people who are transferred. Then I was taken to another prison called Maranjau. Now things started looking even more worse, because that prison is among one of the main prisons in Kenya, and life there is not a joke. Kwanza tukianza na chawa zina line kwa nguo literally. After that period ndo niliachanga kuchekelea mtu akiungua chawa hii kwa sababu mikono inakwanga imechoka ama iko so full in such a way that unaona mpaka mdomo itasaidia na kufanya kazi. Once you bed at 8 in the morning, kuamka ni saa 6.
But it helped you?
No, hiyo mateso yote. I remember one day, so a month and a half towards the end of the second month, I remember I was called by a police officer, and he requested me to follow him. Now that used to be a problem, because if a prison officer asks you to follow him, we knew that used to be a problem. Sababu huko hakuna mama yako, huko hakuna baba yako, huko ni vita na kazi ngumu. Something that I cannot wish even to my worst enemy. So nikaingia kwa ofisi yake, alafu akaniambia enda uoge. Okay, nikaenda nikaoga, and akaniambia chukua hiyo bag kwa hapo. Kuangalia nikaona hii ni bag yangu. I saw that was my bag. And I never came here with a bag. So I was kind of surprised, and I asked him, Funday, what is happening? He told me, you don't know you're going home. Your father came for you. Oh my God. I don't know. It was a mixture of happiness, a mixture of joy, a mix of, I don't know, I cried. And within a few minutes, I met my father outside the last gate, and we went home. And my parents were happy. Everyone else at home. And at this time, I've never talked to any person at home, like my brothers and sisters. Now, apart from the shame, the guilt, and so many things, my parents welcomed me. I took a shower. Zile nguo niko nazo nikachoma. And after a few a small conversation there with my parents, it was around, my father came for me at around 11 in the morning. So by 1 we were at home. So by 2 at least nilikuwa nimeongea na wazazi kidogo hapo, and yes, I decided to take maybe a nap of around 7 minutes at 2. And then let me cut the story short. By 3 the same day, I was in the same pub that I was selling, at the counter selling beer, because something just came into my mind, and I was like, siwache tu nifike hapo nione mabeshte wawili watatu. I found myself there. Of course, your drinking buddies will welcome you. Everyone was happy. And somehow, word went around that I'm back. So, even before masaa ya kufungua ifike, the pub was already full. And that day I never went home. And that's how I found myself back. Because it wasn't like something ya kuanzia. So, all of a sudden I went back to what I was doing. The drinking continued. Now you can imagine, okay, because you had stopped earlier, of course, and you're working, in terms of health, nilikuwa nimegain some health. And physically I was looking good and all that. But now I went back to drinking. And I've told you, when you go back to drinking, it is just like picking from where you left. And the journey continued again, downwards now. And coming home became a problem.
God.
Okay. Just as I was telling you, nilirudia tu with all those other things zenye zilikuwa earlier, they all came back. Hakuna kitu iliachwa nyuma. So it came to a point whereby somehow kuna mahali nafikanga, na nimekwambia mara mingi, unasikia kuna kale kasauti kanakwambia you want to quit this. And it also came to that point again, and I decided to stay at home. And indeed, one of my brothers akaona I'm so determined to stop all this, and akapata vacancy somewhere, ka job fulani na kampuni ya maji. And I started as one of mtu wa vibarua. And as I continued, I told you that mi si nyamazangi. I usually get to talk to people here and there and all that. And that's how one of the field directors noticed me. And he also came to know that si kuchimba mitaro tunajua. I have some other courses. And that's how I became a sociologist to the company. So tukafanya corona. Sasa hiyo mwaka ya corona all through mimi nilikuwa na huko tukifanya hizo kazi. Hiyo mwaka ikaisha, kupandilia mwaka 2021 kazi nayo ikaanza kwenda chini because we were heading towards elections, and the company was being funded by the government. So mishahara bado ikaanza kukua ni shida hapo hivyo. Eventually hiyo kazi ikakuja ikahold, awaiting funds because they couldn't do anything kama hawana pesa. So it's like now I went back to hustle, and eventually now already nilikuwa nimepata around the period between that year 2020 I had a relationship with a certain lady. So we were in a relationship. So now when 2021 began, we were already staying together. Na nilikuwa at least sasa nimeweza kujikarisha. Hata nikienda tulikuwa tunakaa na watu wa kampuni, but eventually nikaweza kujikarisha. So I started a family. But in the process, hata tukiwa na huyu, sometimes ningekuta I'm this very nice, because deep inside me I knew I'm a good person. I knew what I'm supposed to do, and I would find myself sometimes doing exactly that. But now there's this urge that used to come. I couldn't have control over alcohol. The moment I take the first drink, it would be very hard for me to, ati mpaka pesa imeisha ati ndo nafanya nitoke kwa pub. Hiyo ni history. I will still drink because I will have ways. So that would make sure that I have enough money. And of course now duties would be neglected. Of course, you know, so many things will not go the right way. So hiyo mwaka 2020 ikakuwa, now this relationship imekuwa the lady of course knew that I used to go to pubs, but I believe she believed that she can change the way I am, because she used to talk to me a lot about alcohol. But somehow hiyo inakuwa story for another day, because so many things happened in between to an extent. Wakati sasa kazi iliisha, sasa hii relationship ina ikaanza kuwa ni shida. So when I went back home, something made me go back home. And what made me go back home was that towards November, October, I lost my brother in a very unclear circumstances, because he died by way of suicide. He was the assistant chief. His name was Patrick Masharia. So now that added to the problems, because I couldn't get myself to like understand what was happening. And now you add to what you have. Now that became like it is set the alarm off, because after we were through with the mourning period, I never went to work again. The relationship couldn't work, so I just called it quits. I went and looked for work in a pub, because that is the only way I knew how to survive. Now ilikuwa imefikia to an extent sasa, unajua whenever I pick that issue, ile mtindo ya kukunywa, you still go back to the exact same things. Na sasa it's a case of anything goes, because saa ingine hata una pesa, so ulevi yoyote iko sawa. So ni kukunywa like throughout you're drunk. To an extent now I started hating myself. Everything is not going right. Sasa nikaanza kujichukia to an extent that's how suicidal thoughts started creeping in. Kaanza kufikiria hata hakuna, there's nothing worth living for now. Wacha tu nimalize hii kitu. So to cut a long story short, what I used to, sasa ilifika mahali nikaanza kuona ningejichelewesha, labda na entertain some customers wenye watapitisha masaa ili kukue late kabisa, na make sure nimelewa kabisa, and the distance that I was going home to was around 2 kilometers. I would force myself to walk that late because somehow in my mind I would imagine kimutu kitoke na huko tu kinichape like ukufe. Sasa because sasa mpaka imefika mahali sasa naonanga mpaka watu wetu they don't understand what I'm going through. So I had already created resentment towards them. To an extent it would be very hard for me kukuwa nimewasha simu. Sometimes ningeacha kama nimeizima. So like nilikuwa naona huyu mtu akinichapa mpaka nilikuwa najipicture nikiwa kwa hospitali, nikiwa nimelala kwa kitanda. Sasa kama nimekufa ama sija kufa, that one I didn't understand well. Mpaka sasa naona sasa wamezunguka hapo. Sasa naona mimi najiona nikijicongratulate. This is what I wanted you guys to see. This is what I wanted you to see, what I'm going through.
Safari ya pombe ilikuja kuisha.
Sasa ilifika mahali, sasa ikafika mahali nikaona hakuna mtu ananichapa. Nikaenda nikanunua dawa. Poison. Na mahali napenda sana kukaa kwangu kwa nyumba, nikaiweka hapo chini ya kiti. So every time that I would get home, I would sit on that seat. And I would imagine how my life has been, all those failures, all those frustrations. And I would tell myself, now I know how. Now the only real thing remaining is where and when to kill myself. And that issue became very strong in my mind in such a way that hata ningetumwa hapo na mzee na huko chini kwa shamba, ningejikuta like kuangalia miti ni gani nzuri. Paka arguing with yourself ile kwa sababu once you hang yourself on a tree itakatwa, naona hiyo italeta hasara. Yani I could like bargain. How? Now God is good because I had like a target. Mahali sitafikisha place fulani. Yani sitafikisha time fulani. Along that period, and by the way, when we meet, I'm always this talkative person, a very nice guy who doesn't have a problem. But deep inside, I'm crashing. And it came to a place whereby Mungu kuna venye huwa anafanya kazi. And I'm still selling in the same ile place too. So ilifika to an extent nikiwa tu hapo hivyo, one of my kijana wa sistangu akakuja kunitembelea because I remember hata hizo Christmas zilifuatilia. I never went home. Niko home, yes, but watu wetu we usually have a get together. Mimi sikuenda. nilitoroka na nikaenda kwanza hiyo siku wa kazini juu sitaki hata wanitafute. I don't want to see them, but they thought I'm working. So huyo after several days sasa huyo jamaa akakuja kunitembelea kwa sababu it has been long they've not seen me. So it's kind of in between hapo tu kwa maneno na ulevi yangu nini sijui nini, I happened to tell him my intentions za kujiua. So it's kind of alienda akaambia the rest of my family. But I only came to learn later that Mia aliwaambia. But ile siku nilikuwa nimeamua because it was 2 days after tumeongea na yeye. Nilienda asubuhi saa 9 venye tu nimezoea, nikaenda nikafungua kazi, then I made sure that I've made myself drunk totally, and I literally walked home. Kaenda nikakalia ile kiti, kukaa hapo, Mungu na yeye ni nani, nikalala. Kwa sababu intention nilikuwa nichukue dawa, but nikalala. Kujisikia it was around 11 in the morning, nilijisikia saa 2 usiku. Kujisikia saa 2 usiku nikashinda kutoka nje tukakutana na my brother. One thing that I noticed and I'll never forget up to today is how happy I saw my brother kuniona home at that time. Tukaongea hapo, akaenda tukaongea na wazazi, they were so happy. Somehow I felt like after all ni kama watu wote hawajanichukia, ni kama bado there is some kind of love. And I think maybe apaka hiyo siku nikienda kulala, I just told myself, let me give this ako kakitu nimeona, let me give it a chance. Of course the following days okay, bado unakunywa kwa sababu huwezi acha immediately, lakini so nikajaribu kuacha, but kuna mahali ilifika tukakosana na my brother. Venye tu watu kukosana na akanichapa, that triggered everything. So the what made me change was that hiyo day tulikosana, I went on a drinking spree, and the third day ya kukunywa nikatumwa na my mom niende nimtolee pesa kwa M-Pesa nirudi. It was on a Sunday morning. Nikajiambia na juu nataka kuacha pombe, wacha niingie pale nikunywa kamoja, I go home and it's like nimeiambia kwa heri. I found myself 2 days later at a friend's house 7 kilometers away from home. I sina simu ya mom, ile pesa niko nayo ni kidogo, of course ingine zimeibiwa. So I did the next thing that I knew how. I went back to a pub, huko nilitolewa na my brother. Sitaki kuenda nyumbani. Sasa ndo ilifika mahali, sasa wakati alini convince tufike nyumbani, ndo nilifika mahali nikaenda mbele ya wazazi nikamwambia, now this is too much, I need help, na kutoka kesho sitatoka huku. Whatever you see from tomorrow, please mnisamehe na mjaribu kuni understand, because I knew the withdrawals will kick in. Zilinisukuma the following day, and that's how I got to a man that I love so much. His name is David Irongo. He's a counselor, and we started talking. Bado tukiwa tu uko home, anakuja na ni encourage, tunaongea. We did it the cold turkey way. We managed the withdrawals, and eventually I started this program, and I managed the 3 months, and basically that's why I'm happily seated here. Very thankful for God and all those people that assisted, all those people that never gave up. And let me say that it has been a very nice experience. I believe those of you who know me, they can agree with that, because they are seeing something totally different from what they were used to. And the reason as to why I have given this story is to encourage you who is at home. I believe there are so many people like me who are out there those, I believe majority of us back at home are not able to seek help because one, they don't know they are afraid of what people will say about them, and others don't even know where they are going to start from. But believe you me, I'm here to tell you that the first thing is to accept that you have a problem, you have an issue, and the other thing is to know that you are the only person who can take care of your life and can change your life. So the most important thing is to come out. We are there for you. I, for one, am readily available. Currently, I'm working at Sobriety Rehabilitation Center. I'm working as a counselor and a coach, recovery coach. And whenever possible, try as much as you can to look for someone you can trust. Just be open up to that person, and in the process, you will find a way out to deal with the issue that we have, because addiction has been a problem, and it is a family problem, because if one person is infected in that family, the whole family becomes sick. There are so many people who at least can relate to what I'm talking about, because alcohol and these other drugs have affected our dear brothers, our dear sisters, and it has ruined homes. That's why I feel that passion of coming forward, sharing this story with you, and encourage you and tell you that all is possible. And one thing I'm grateful for is those people that have been with me along this journey, very encouraging people, Kina David, Kina Kamar, Kina Immaculate. I love what you do in my life, and let's go out there and try to encourage these other people, and I believe something good will come out of that. Wow. So thank you so much.
Wow.
God bless you.
And how can people find you?
I work at Moranga, Sobriety Rehabilitation Center. You can find me on Facebook and WhatsApp. I call myself Francis Waiguru on Facebook, Instagram, Francis Waiguru. My contacts are 0702 238 212. 0702 238 212. And of course, we can discuss so many things. We have groups on WhatsApp. Whenever you have an issue, we can discuss. And I will be able to direct you whenever possible. I will connect you with the necessary people, so that it's not just a matter of you coming to the rehabilitation center. Even calling me, it is very much possible for us to sit down and see what we can do about your issue.
Wow. Thank you so much for speaking to us and encouraging these people, because it's something that so many people are struggling with. Yeah. And through this conversation, through your experience and how you came out of it, I'm sure it will encourage so many people. Yeah. So thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Wow.